Oh my god, okay, so I literally just woke up, but I needed to record this before I forgot the dream, or else I'm never gonna forgive myself for this. Okay. So basically, the dream started, with this witch, blue outfit, and it didn't have a hat, but, blue glasses, freckles, blue eyes, they were kind of small, the eyes, I guess, and also, like kind of brunette, I want to say, like kind of like brownish, kind of gold. Okay, that's the least important thing. Okay, so the setting takes place in like the fields, so they're in like this huge field. The witch, which I didn't hear the name of there, so I'm just gonna call her what are we gonna call her? Let's just call her Aubrey. Okay, so Aubrey is in this field with her family, and they're eating oranges off of a tree, and apparently they own that field, so they're just eating there. And in the next field over, they're having a party, and non-witches are there. And basically, the father really hates witches, like non-witches. The father really hates non-witches, so Aubrey's just sitting there eating oranges, and they're like having a good time or whatever. And then non-witches come over, and they're like trying to pick oranges off the tree. And the dad is like, "Oh my god, I hate non-witches. Stay off property. Don't you know what property is?" And the non-witches were like, "We're literally just trying to get at least one orange. We're kind of hungry. It isn't that big of a deal. There's people that steal like this and that, like arguing." And at the end of the day, the father lets them go, whatever. And Aubrey just like gets confused, like, "Oh, what's going on? Why do we hate non-witches so much?" And at this point, she's like, what, 5? She's like young. She doesn't understand what's going on. And that's like, whatever you do, always stay away from non-witches, because they're bad, whatever. Okay, so basically Aubrey does not listen. She's like 5, so she goes over to the other place, and she sees the party. She sees how happy everybody is, how not stressed they seem to be. And she meets this guy, which he has like kind of like blondish hair, I want to say, but not really. It's kind of more like a gold color, and he also has freckles and stuff. He's also 5, and I don't want to say they're 5 actually. Now that I think about it in my head, I think they were like, what, 10? They were 10. Sorry for that sudden change. I'm not gonna edit this. It's just a spew because I just woke up and I don't want to forget it. Okay, so they were both 10, whatever. Okay, so this guy, we're just gonna call what are we gonna call him? We're gonna call him. Oh my god, I can't think of a good name because I just woke up and my brain isn't functioning. We are going to call him Julian, just for now. So his name is Julian or whatever. And so Aubrey and Julian like meet, and they're like, "Oh, okay, hi, whatever." And the other people from the party are there, and they don't really seem to care that Aubrey's there, so they just treat her like a normal and whatever. So she like looks at how everybody is so relaxed, and she's like, "Why can't my family be like that? They seem so stiff and strict." So eventually Julian like looks at her and whatever, and he's like, "You seem different." Like, you can just tell by looking at her how different she is. And he's like, "Who are you from?" and stuff like that. And she's like, "I'm from the witch's side." And he's like, "How can somebody like you be from the witch's side? You seem so like different, like kind and stuff, and you don't look stiff. You look really nice, and look like, how can someone be so nice from the witch's place?" And Aubrey is like, "I don't know." But eventually the father finds out, and he's like, "Go home right away. We're gonna stay here and party a little bit more, but I need you to go home because I don't want you interacting with them." So eventually she goes back to the field, and she gets like attacked. I don't remember what. I just remember she got attacked by something, and the father sweeps in and saves her. And like, he's trying to carry her back to the house, And I remember Julian was like not far behind them, and he was like, how can somebody like you be a witch? And he was like saying all this stuff. The father was just like ignoring him because he was mostly worried about Aubrey. And Julian just kept going like, how can somebody like you be part of the witch's family? Like, I don't understand. You're so pretty and stuff, and you're like not even mean, you're not stiff and whatever. And eventually the father opens the door and closes it on Julian's face, and then he puts her down or whatever, and then he wakes her up like really really kind of mean, actually. Like, he starts shaking her and it's like, wake up, I need you to like stay here, and then I need to go back to the party. So he leaves, and Aubrey opens the door actually, and she goes outside and she sees Julian, and they have like a short conversation, and then they walk back to the house. And then she sees a broken item. I still don't know what it is. I think it's like a broken leg of a chicken or something. And she goes, oh, I forgot, I need to fix this. And she gets like a bunch of ingredients to make a spell, and she grabs her own wand. And like, Julian is just inside the house at this point. Like, he's following her around. And she like puts it in the dish. She puts like a bunch of like ingredients, and then she starts waving her wand, and she says a spell, which I can't remember. And then the leg gets fixed off the chicken. Like, I have no idea how that happened, but I guess so. It gets fixed. She gets really excited. It's kind of off, like the leg doesn't really fit the chicken that well, but it's like, but it's fixed nonetheless. So she gets really excited, and like she says like, oh, my dad's gonna be so proud of me because I finally did a spell by myself. And I mean, again, she's 10 at this time, so she was like, oh, this is such an advanced spell, like, this is so cool. And Julian just kept saying stuff like, I don't understand, how are you from a witch's family? I've never seen them this happy and stuff. And she goes, I'm not sure. So Julian eventually hears that they're coming, like the family, like the witch's family, and he does not want to get in trouble, so he immediately runs away. And Aubrey seems really interested in the non-witches world now, so she's like, whatever, I'll just keep that in mind. Eventually she opens the door, mom comes in and like hugs her, whatever. She's like, oh, I'm so glad you're okay, Aubrey. And then she's like, yeah, I'm fine. And the dad comes in. He gets mad. He's like, why did you fix the chicken? You could have hurt yourself with that. And Aubrey's like, no, but I didn't, and I did it right. And he looks at it and he's like, you still need to work, and I need you to test out something for me today. So this is gonna be a reoccurring theme. The dad takes out a snake and it wraps around Aubrey, and it bites her, and it makes her get poisoned. But every single day that she does this, that she goes through this, the poison effects are different. So in this time, I think I think all the letters and every single wall would zoom in onto her face, so it would like cause her to get dizzy. And then this goes on until we get like a time skip. So every single time you would see a time skip of her trying a new poison while still trying to have to clean the house. So it was like picture zoom in. She would get heart cold, which is like the opposite of heartburn. She would pass out cold and stuff like that. It was like really bad effects. Like she would start getting really dizzy. And then eventually the pass out one that I mentioned, that was the last straw for her. Like, she passed out back to back because the dad was starting to try out the poison like 3 times a day. And then this time, like, she tried it out, and it passed her out. It made her sweat. It made her like it made her do some other stuff. And in this time skip, we see that she made a bunch of friends from the non-witches world, which is the people who stole the oranges. And Julian at this time is not there yet, but he eventually makes his entrance later in the building or whatever. He eventually makes up. I don't know when he comes in, because in my dream he just showed up, because dreams are like that. So basically, you see the non-witches are like, I'm pretty sure this isn't normal. I don't think you're supposed to get poisoned by your dad. That does not seem right. You've been putting up with this for like how many years now? And at this time, they're like, what? They're like in like their 15s, I want to say, like 16, 17. Like, they're around those ages. And Aubrey literally says like, I really don't want to do this anymore. I can't take it. I need to get out of here. So she says, I'm going to run away. And everybody's like, oh, finally, it took you long enough. And so she starts like sneaking around the house trying to pack. And the moment she like picked up her bag to start packing, that's like, I need you to clean up everything right now. And like she was still having the effects of the poison though. She was like tumbling and stuff. And she says, okay, I'm gonna have to do this first. And the friends actually gave her a thumbs up. They had already cleaned the whole house. Like they had cleaned her room, they had cleaned her house and everything. And she was like, okay, thankfully. So she grabbed her bag, she started like going around the house, putting in potion ingredients, putting in like certain stuff. And then she had to go back to her room to get like her wand. And so when she was like sneaking in there, she knows that the dad was in the room over and he was like talking with someone, so she had to like be really sneaky about it. And let me tell you, the rest of the family was really good at helping out. Like they knew that what she was going through wasn't normal even for witch's family standards, and they were like giving her like ingredients too and like wishing her good luck and stuff. And actually she was gonna leave, but one of the family members were like, a witch can't leave without their wand. Even if they're going to leave the family, that doesn't mean they will never be a witch again. So she got her wand and she started like speed walking out, and her other friends were like already waiting outside. And so she opened the door and she like glanced back and she heard her dad pause and she knew that it was time to go. So she like grabbed her broom from the side, closed the door, and like ran out. And she like hopped onto the broom, but then her actual brother was there, and he was like, I can't just let you go because you still need to be able to make it to the non-witches world before you get freaking captured, because don't think it's so easy to get out of the witches world. You still have to go through a lot of stages. And Aubrey's like, how do you know? And he just like shakes his head and says, just don't ask questions, and we just need to go now. So Aubrey gets on the broom, and at this point all the non-witch friends are like cheering her on, and they like walk away because they don't need to fly. They just need to go back to their like own world, and nobody's gonna stop them because they're not from the witches world. They don't have an alarm set because there's like a barrier around the place that whoever crosses it and is a magic user, everybody will be alerted and they need to go after them. And so Aubrey's brother and Aubrey get out of the field, and a bunch of people start coming in. And so she asks for advice from the brother, like, how do you fly fast? And he starts like really quickly teaching her, but she really catches on because she's like really good at using magic and following directions from the like huge amount of years that she's been doing this for. So she starts flying really fast, and she starts getting closed in by so many people. So she like clears her throat or whatever. She takes out her wand, and everybody's like looking at her, and she says one singular spell, and like a lot of people around her get set on fire. And a bunch of people start screaming like, she's no ordinary witch. She's actually like very skilled in magic. We need to be careful, because it's very normal for witches around her age to only know like a spell, like 4 spells or 5, but they could already tell from that one spell how powerful it was, that she was no ordinary witch. So spell after spell is cast. A spell that makes the wind around you like crazy, so it makes everybody else fly off into different directions. A spell that sets people on fire. A spell that washes people away. And there's a spell that causes a random ball to appear and everybody to be hyper focused on the ball instead of on the person. So a bunch of people started dancing or whatever. And there was like different types of spells. And at the end, there was this really skilled witch, and she's like, I don't think you're gonna be able to pull that stunt with me. So Aubrey pulls out her wand again, and she does this spell which transforms her into the size of an ant, but it makes her broom really unstable, so it makes it dip all the way down like really fast. And the witch is like, wait, where did you go? Like, she starts freaking out, and the other witches are like looking, and they're trying to like get the broom at least. And then Aubrey flicks her wand and turns herself into an elephant, and it pushes a bunch of people away. She uses her trunk, grabs the witch, and like yeets her off into the distance, and then she turns back to herself and she starts like riding away. At this point, the brother actually got caught because he isn't as good as us at magic as she is, even though he's older. But he gives her a thumbs up, and he said, I wasn't intending on leaving. But if I had the chance, I would have, but I needed to leave for our sake. I had my chance a long time ago, and this is just my second chance of blowing it up. And so he was carried away, and the other witches gave up because they saw like how fast Aubrey was, and like her spells were too advanced for them. And the funny thing is, now that I'm just remembering, a lot of the spells too were also the side effects of the poison. Like, there were certain spells that would make a lot of the people on brooms like have cold heart, like I said, opposite of heartburn, and be like dizzy. So she also learned spells based off of the poison of the snake. So eventually she started riding off, and like she got off and met up with Julian, and this is when I woke up. And I wish it could have gone on longer, because it was really entertaining. And I woke up, like I got on Discord or whatever, started texting, and then I realized that dream was so good. I need to audio record it right now, because if I write it down, it's not going to be as good, and I need to do it right now. So that's my dream that I had today. As you can see, my voice is like really bad because I just woke up. And I haven't done anything. Oh my god. Okay, but that's my dream. I did not expect it to be a 60-minute explanation, but yeah, that's the end. Thank you for everybody who listened till the end. I hope you guys liked the dream as much as I did. Thank you. This is Azalea signing out.